But here's the problem. You know what the police need more than anything else? They need money for training. And the way the police departments are set up, they do the most ridiculously minuscule amount of training for what their job is. So, as you know, I was in the SEAL teams. We would train for 18 months. 18 months we would train to go on a 6-month deployment. Cops, they get like 2 hours or 4 hours of combatives training a year. A year. That's complete insanity. It's complete insanity. The thing I've been saying is cops should train 1/5 of the time. 1/5 of the time you should be training, whether it's 2 hours a day, 4 times a week, or whether it's 1 day a week where you're going to go and you're going to go through scenarios. You're going to do combatives. You're going to work with simunition. You're going to do de-escalation drills. Because it's really hard. I mean, being a cop I think is the hardest job in the world. And by the way, they're not going to have to worry about defunding the police because no one's going to want to be a cop anymore. Who is going to be fired up to be a cop right now? Who's going to think, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be hated by by a massive portion of the country. I want to be viewed as someone that kills innocent people. The recruiting in cop for police is going to go down so hard. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. And then who are you getting there? You're going to get people that are worse level people, worse level humans are going to show up to be cops. So the training piece, though, they should do very, very scenario-driven training, right? Where you come into a room, and this isn't like super expensive stuff either. You come into a room, there's a person there, they appear to be compliant. You learn how to talk to them. You very quickly learn that instead of yelling them out of the gate, you say, "Hey man, what's going on? Hey, what's your name? You know, what's going on? We got a call here. Is everything okay?" You just immediately de-escalate. Then you learn what to do when they don't respond the way you want them to respond. Then you learn what to do when they start to do something drastic. What's the best thing for you? And you play through these scenarios. It's just like jiu-jitsu in the fact that what makes jiu-jitsu good? What makes jiu-jitsu good is we can go hard against each other over and over again and not really get hurt, not really get killed. So you get really good at it. That's what you need to do in training for police. You need to go through these tough scenarios over and over again because you do get better at it. You do get better at it. You learn how to mentally detach and not get emotional and realize that there's other things that are happening. When you see the George Floyd case, a couple of the other cops, I think two of the other guys were complete rookies, right? They had been on the force for a very short period of time. No one in that group of 4, obviously you got the killer himself. He's actually conducting the act, but all the other guys are not paying attention. They're all emotional themselves. Hey, stay back. And they're probably watching him saying, why isn't that guy moving? And they're just caught up in it. Whereas if someone would have showed up on the scene or one of those guys had been through some good training in their life, they would have said, what's happening here? Hold on. My partner over there has been on this guy for 2 minutes. He's not moving anymore. I'm going to walk over and say, hey man, let me take over. I got this. Go over there, decompress. This takes training. You have to train people. And I saw this over and over again in the SEAL teams, training guys. You get a young kid that's coming through training for the first time and they go into a room and they're getting shot with simunition bullets, or there's someone yelling and screaming, or we'd put Arabic women coming walking out of rooms. We'd have people get blown up with wounds. We would do this to them over and over again. So they realize, okay, I just got to relax. I got to take a step back. I got to detach from this situation so I can process what's happening and I can make a good decision. Because as I said earlier, no one is making a good decision when they're panicked, when they're freaked out, when they're scared. As a jiu-jitsu guy, when someone puts hands on you, you're not actually scared, right? You're like, oh, okay, I know what to do here. If you don't know jiu-jitsu, if you've never had someone grab you before, or you haven't had someone grab you in 17 months or 14 months, no one's laid hands on you because you got a badge and a gun. So people, when you tell them to do something, 95% of the time they go, okay, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. But then somebody grabs you. You're instantly, your emotions are spiked, your adrenaline spiked. And the only way to overcome that is through consistent training that happens on a regular basis. You can't just train somebody one time. It's like ring rust. You know, you can't just train somebody one time and, oh, now I don't need to train anymore.